with that being said, let's get started.
Welcome, dude.
Hey, so what were you saying about the check mark?
Oh yeah, man. I was talking about Andrew Schultz said that the coronavirus test is the new check mark on Instagram. That's how you know you're famous if you got the coronavirus test. I was just telling Tunde and Herschel, man. Basically, like no regular people are getting the test. You gotta have a little bit of cash. You gotta be famous. Otherwise, you're just gonna walk around these streets with coronavirus, man. You're not gonna know.
That's true. Only poor people get coronavirus. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Rich people get it too. They just know.
Yeah,
we don't.
But they know.
True.
We don't. We just walk around with all these dirty ass people.
Just spreading disease amongst ourselves.
Oh man,
unknowing.
I was reading an article about how 58 people on the Utah Jazz organization got tested like immediately after Rudy Gobert basically like set the whole world on fire.
The bioterrorist. You don't call him Rudy Gobert no more. You call him the bioterrorist.
Okay.
The bioterrorist. That's pretty funny.
I kind of like it.
Goddamn Rudy.
Low-key, I think, some people have said that we should thank him because pretty much everything popped off.
I say that. We should thank him. People started taking it serious.
I can get on that. I can get on that train.
This is also a thing where, like, all right, yeah, it kind of sucks because he put some people at risk. Like, not even just the immediate people, but older, whomever might be the target population or risk population. But, he made people take the shit serious, He was like, nah, I'm going to be a dumbass out here. And then everybody, like, fucking clutched their pearls when he started touching mics. And then people started getting sick for real. And it was like, oh, all right, well, maybe we should just shut this shit down. After LeBron had the hilarious comment, I know y'all heard this LeBron shit where like they asked him, it was a couple weeks ago. They were like, "Yo, so they're talking about playing games with no fans," and he was like, "For who? For what? No fans." The shit was hilarious. Oh my god. He was like, "I haven't played like even my high school games. I ain't played for no fans. Shoot, I do this for the fans." And then like 2 days later, he had to walk all that shit back and be like,
"Yeah, I know."
Whole NBA shut down.
Yes,
for real.
Shoot. Fans aren't even a question.
Why did he have to walk it back? What he said was fair.
Technically though, more people watch on TV than they do live, or did they do like at the actual stadium? So,
well, but that's the thing. The TV dollars is huge. Like, not compared to what people are paying to go to the game. Like, the TV contract has already been paid for, whether people are watching or not. So
that's true.
But see, the thing is, y'all didn't even know that coronavirus could get your TV too.
Oh,
y'all didn't even know that.
That's true. See,
it can what?
It could get your TV coronavirus. You could get coronavirus TV edition. You ain't even know that.
Yep.
What?
She got his mic earlier.
What?
Yeah, man, you missed a lot.
I'm so confused.
Hell yeah! When I was watching that press conference with Rudy Gobert, and he was touching on the microphones, man, I turned my TV off so fast. Yo. All right, everybody. So check it out. This is Real Talk Beyond the Headlines. It is a true pleasure to have you guys on the podcast with me right now. And this is your boy Tunde and your boy Herschel, your super co-hosts. We represent different parts of the country right now. So let's just do a quick roll call real quick. Tell us about where you at, what it's like, what's coronavirus doing to your city. We'll start out with Arie, our West Coast correspondent. What's good, man?
I feel like, well, it's supposed to be like everywhere else, but I feel like niggas in LA are just walking around like business as usual. So, like, I'm the only one wearing a mask outside and people looking at me sideways. I'm like, I'm trying to protect myself. Like, y'all niggas is gonna get sick, not me.
Okay, so what is it like? Like, what are the regulations in place right now? What's it like in LA?
So right now, only certain restaurants can be open. You have to order takeout or delivery. Every other business is closed. No bars open. No retail stores are allowed to be open. Barbershops aren't supposed to be open, but people are there anyways. Like, there's all these rules supposed to be in place, but it doesn't seem like 100% of businesses are on board. So you'll still see like a bunch of people out and stuff like that. But that's not the rules right now. So we'll see. But actually,
wow.
No, they haven't closed the barbershops. They're still open.
okay.
But apparently it's getting way worse here. I mean, just over this past few days, we had a couple hundred extra cases. So, and my girlfriend works at a hospital. She just said there was a 34-year-old who came in and died from the coronavirus. So
Hilarious.
Not hilarious.
Yo, I need to see the rest of this dude's medical history. I need more information than that.
I know,
to be
right?
like, oh yeah, he just.
That's true. So, but
Dude might have had a heart transplant. He might have had crazy stuff going on. But yeah,
could have. I mean,
Yeah.
in LA, could have been
Gunshot
a cocaine
wound.
overdose.
He also happened to have coronavirus at the same time.
I know, right? He died of a heart attack.
That's
Yeah.
true. He also.
Cocaine overdose.
It is
So I'm
LA.
saying that it is LA. I mean, that's how it's like here. I mean, so nothing.
People doing
too
cocaine,
crazy
that's
so
what's up.
far. It's supposed to be. I mean,
coronavirus.
it's the only way to.
Poor
That's how you cure the virus, right? That's how you cure the
That's what I
virus,
heard.
right?
Yeah.
A shot in the
I mean,
line.
that's what I've been doing. I think they recommended an 8-ball, so I got me a few of those.
I'm pretty sure the president was on TV talking about just do an 8-ball and you'll be okay. Basically, about
That was pretty good Trump.
Thank you. About 3 to 4 weeks ago, that's pretty much what he said. Basically, like everything's gonna be all good. But you know what? We won't even get into that right now. Let's go to Arie, St. Louis, also known as the instigator, also known as a future MD PhD holder. Tell us about that, man.
Ah, man, what an introduction! You guys are gonna be like, "Oh, this guy, he's a cool guy," or really a nerd. But
Both.
I'm out here in St. Louis, man, and it's like, so all of my interaction with coronavirus is through the lens of being in medical school. So at WashU, they have basically gone ham. Like they canceled everything. Like everything is canceled. People in rotations and like actual medical school taking classes right now, their shit is canceled. We then like recently a couple of days ago, the St. Louis put out the edict to close out all of the bars and clubs, and like all the dine-in spots for restaurants have been closed, so people have to take out only. So but in the stores, like people be buying up all the stuff. Like there's no more rice at the stores. There's like very little bread. There's like all the instant noodles are gone. It's all like the easy cheap shit that you could buy. Everybody's already bought all that shit.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I was like, damn, man, I don't even have no more rice. I don't have none of this stuff. But
You get any toilet paper?
I stockpile that already. Like so.
There you go.
Even before coronavirus, man, I always be stockpiling toilet paper.
And he be taking hella shits.
It's a crazy thing, man. I
Yeah.
take like 3 shits a day.
Can't get caught slipping. I feel you.
I know, right? But people are still out and about too, man. But there's less traffic. Like nobody goes to restaurants. So like in the evening, there's not that many people. Everybody just be at home. So it's kind of cool going out. You get to like just enjoy nature. You don't have to see nobody walking.
True story. Hey, man, I just want to say something. Like, look, I got lots of friends and I got love for all of them, but this was supposed to be the greatest graduation of all of the homies. Like, this was about to be the best graduation of any nigga that ever graduated.
Damn.
And that shit got canceled, man. I'm so bummed.
Yeah,
and I've been
man,
looking
super
forward
sad.
to this.
I've been
You
looking
graduate
forward
from the
to it too,
streets?
man. Yeah, man. I'm about to graduate
That's
and enter the streets.
Oh, there you
That's what I'm
go.
trying to do.
Yeah.
So
So
take it to the streets, man. But yeah, it's a real bummer, man. I kind of haven't even like actually fully grasped it. But today though, I realized today that after like 2 weeks from now, there's literally nothing keeping me in St. Louis. So then I just bought. It might be kind of stupid. You guys might think this is dumb, which I'm starting to think it is. But I bought a ticket to Germany, man, for April 7th.
oh, okay.
I'm trying to just like leave, but I don't know if they're gonna even let me in the country, man.
I mean, are they gonna let you out of the country?
Bruh, I don't even know.
Man,
But
it's crazy.
I gotta
Cause
take these chances.
because like
Coronavirus chances.
liberty is, obviously at like a foundational concept within American culture and United States history. And if we don't have the liberty to get on a plane and go wherever the fuck we want, especially with the United States passport,
Right.
that's different times, man. It's different times.
Right. That's what I was thinking, man.
I mean,
Just-
I heard
we'll see the value of it soon enough.
I heard over in Europe though that they're letting like American tourists just kind of travel about freely. I mean, at least that was the last thing I heard from Italy. In Italy, they were just allowing Americans in and out of the country.
Yo, y'all trying to go? Because I'm down. I saw some cheap tickets.
To Italy? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yo, listen, we're all probably about to catch this Corona shit eventually. We might as well go ahead,
Italy
see it in
is the
Rome
reason
at
why
the same
all of them
time.
got it. That's crazy, man. Italy's so dumb. Why
You-
can't they let
you're-
people just
you-
travel around freely?
American
I mean,
tourists, man.
it's just amazing. It's just amazing how like little nobody cared for the longest time, and then now all of a sudden,
yeah.
like
thousands
even
are
when
dying.
even when they had the quarantine of northern Italy, I read about people in Italy didn't care. They were just like, oh, y'all about to wall us in? We're about to leave then, and they all just left.
They all just went for the South.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. They were
you
like, Italians
serious?
do not give a fuck. Yeah,
They went to the
They said
south to
Yeah,
spread the
they said-
disease?
not to
Oh,
spread
God.
it. They didn't believe in it.
They weren't
They were
trying to
like-
get quarantined. They weren't trying to get locked down. You know?
Wow.
I mean,
All right.
I can't blame them.
All right, well, we'll get into more of that a little bit later. Let's move
You
on
can't blame
to
'em.
the South, the southern part of the United States. Herschel holding it down for Atlanta,
Hey.
the greatest city, the city that we love the most. What's going on, man?
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thanks for listening, listeners. Yo, Atlanta is kind of crazy. People don't know how to react. Like, they're both shutting shit down and trying to go to the club. I was actually out this past weekend and like, yo, the hookah spot was popping. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I was out here at Vision Lounge. It was crazy because every time somebody would do something, it was like, damn, we probably shouldn't be doing this. We're definitely spreading coronavirus, passing this hookah around. But like, niggas didn't care.
Yeah.
They just took another
Y'all-
shot. Like,
y'all
yo,
weren't even-
I'll be all right.
Y'all weren't even using the mouthpieces, man.
Oh no, definitely.
Y'all
a
took
mouthpiece.
those
That would be foul. That can't do that. Mm-mm. Even though it's crazy, because like I'm sure that shit's not protecting you. People are putting it down on the table or in their pocket and shit. Them shits are just as dirty. It's terrible. But aside from that, it's been pretty chill. Obviously, just like everywhere else, things have been shut down. But I happen to, I work for the CDC, so I get like the inside intel. Like I said, I'm gonna send y'all some test kits. I know only the blue check marks are getting them, but for the homies, I'm gonna hook y'all up. But
Hey.
since yeah, I got you. Since people are informed, like it's kind of chill, but at the same time, like you have a couple of people panicking. I've definitely seen some people almost come to blows in the grocery store. Shit is
What?
crazy in that respect.
Which grocery store was it?
Kroger, man, K. Roger.
Of course it's
Yeah.
Kroger.
It wasn't Murder Kroger, but like it could be. I'm sure you guys are very aware of Murder Kroger off of Ponce de Leon, but they tried to rebrand. They tried to build it up, but people still keep getting murdered over there. I don't know what to tell you.
Damn, for real?
I mean, I don't know it recently, but like they definitely like rebuilt it,
Yeah.
and crime just still happens in the area. Like it's nothing they can really do. Gentrification, obviously, but
When you
Backyard.
name the damn Kroger Murder Kroger, or when it gets that name, it's just
You think of when you're about to go murder somebody, let me just go to that Kroger real quick.
yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
I'm like,
Get some eggs,
deals
milk,
on the homicides.
catch a body, deals on the homicides. That was good.
Man, it's sounding like Atlanta is having a hard time adjusting to social distancing.
Yo, listen, man, I will say traffic has been amazing. Oh my God. 4:30, I'm cruising around 285. The shit is lovely. Oh my God, I hope it stays quarantined forever. Oh my God. On top of just, like the luxuries of working from home. Oh my God. Fuck traffic.
I feel
Coronavirus low-key is worth it.
Man, for those who don't know, 285 is a certified parking lot. So for niggas to just be zooming at 4:30 at any time of the day, that is pretty incredible, man. That's the Rona for you. Anyway, so moving on to the northern part of the country. I, myself, Tunde, am in Boston. Pretty much everything y'all have said is what's going on here. All of the restaurants and bars have been instructed to do takeout and delivery only. All the schools are completely closed. I was on boston.gov today. They said that even though street cleaning is at the regular time, they're not going to ticket and tow cars. But the parking meters are still going. So you definitely will get a ticket if you stay on your parking meter too much. But yeah, man, I went outside and I went to Whole Foods and it was still hella people. You know, I'm like, I don't really understand this whole social distancing thing because I've been posted up at the crib and it's been fucking crazy. You've been watching mad Netflix, Amazon Prime. But I'm just like, all right, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I go outside and there's hella people. I don't know what to think. I don't know what social distancing is, man.
I feel like to me, it's just limiting like the number of times you come in contact. So anything you're doing is better than nothing. But like, I totally agree with you. This motherfucker's running around, like jogging outside, going to the parks and shit. But I think it is like confined spaces, like offices and shit like that, where, I mean, I guess people are spreading it, you know, and Rudy Gobert. So that's it.
The world's #1 bioterrorist, man.
Yeah, young bioterrorist out here.
All right. Okay, fellas, I want to rewind a little bit because while I don't want to like listen or sort of like allow the president to sort of inform my life or my way of thinking, I distinctly remember this dude being on television talking about there's nothing to worry about. It's not coming to our shores. And I just kind of had like a moment of just like satisfaction or relief, you know, like, all right, we're kind of good. This is probably like mid-February, you know, but I'm so mad at myself because he clearly was wrong. You know,
you don't.
Oh yeah. People saw that
sounds
from
like
a
you were
mile
watching
away.
that Fox News.
You think so, Arie?
People saw it from a mile away. If you were online and if you were like paying attention to the Hong Kong protests, they were talking about it first. They were saying, "Oh, by the way, there's this bad virus going around here. It's starting to reach Hong Kong," and like shit like that. So like people were noticing in China, and they said this is coming for everybody else because they're not quarantining anybody. China should have been on top of this within the first few weeks, but they weren't. And so every other country afterwards was like, that's not coming here. I'm like, you want to know how many Chinese people travel to every part of the world all the time?
Yeah.
I'm like, it was bound to happen. They called this back in like, let's see, it's first popped up in like December, kind of, but they were talking about it like late November, early December.
Right.
So
yeah, I remember the news stories, and you know, I felt very much so it was a Chinese sort of ordeal, but even like going into January, February, like there was still just no sense of urgency that we could possibly have to deal with this. Like, I don't know, I guess I thought America was too great or something. And
You know what I thought it was, man? Because we've heard about other Chinese viruses. We've heard of SARS, and MERS, and these other like Asian viruses, and they never really became that important. Like you hear like West Nile, like people hear that's going around, but like you never really see that it becomes like true pandemic scale infections. So I think in the back of our mind, we always sort of compare it to those most recent things, and they weren't really that bad. But now you're seeing like, holy crap, it's like it's spreading like wildfire. It's everywhere. It's unlike anything else we've seen.
You're absolutely right. But I will say this is actually related to that first SARS virus in China. It's not like a direct mutation, but they share the same ancestor, I believe. The actual like SARS disease or virus that causes coronavirus. Coronavirus is just a catchy name, and the name of the disease, COVID-19. It is interesting. Like I totally agree with you that people probably thought of the last times this has happened and just kind of brushed it under the rug. But I definitely remember we were at Emory when swine flu was going around and they started quarantining people on the campus. And yes, I guess it never got like crazy bad, but I feel like there was a couple thousand people that they ended up having to like send over to one of the older dorms. I never knew how bad it got outside of Emory, but I definitely always kind of remember those times.
They were partying in those dorms too.
Yeah. I mean, shit. You think people are not partying with coronavirus right now?
But do you remember when people were lying and saying they had swine flu so they can go into that dorm and party and not have class?
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I heard about a lot of people doing that.
Wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, it got pretty bad at Emory, if I remember. I mean, nobody died, but I mean, like everybody was, quote unquote, I guess, catching it. But
yeah,
yeah, okay, I got it, but I didn't turn myself in.
You what?
Wow.
I think
part
I
of
had
the
it
problem.
too. I think I had it too, and I quarantined myself in my room for like the entire week, or something like that. So,
man, guess who shared a room with Ehi? I did.
Did he give it to you?
I don't remember getting no H1N1. I remember straight chilling, man. I felt bad. I was like, damn, man. I'm sorry for anyone who got the swine flu.
That's how I was didn't show any symptoms.
Possibly. But anyway, all right. So, Mr. CDC, help me understand something, man. You know, I'm thinking about H1N1. I'm thinking about, you know, how, as Ahi was talking about, there have been these other viruses that originated in China that just never seem to come to the level that coronavirus is. Like, I don't understand. How much of it has to do with our preparation? And I just got to say, you know, H1N1 was a whole thing, but when we had, you know, Mr. Barack at the you know, heading the ship as commander in chief, you know, I feel like things were a lot more smooth. I'm just saying, you know. But also, you know, keeping that in mind, the administration at the time, you know, maybe the how virulent coronavirus is. Like, why did this happen? Why have we been just basically slammed with this virus? It seems like.
Yeah, so pretty much that's it. It's more contagious. It's how this particular virus spreads versus some of the previous ones. And like, they get kind of worked up anytime there's a virus that's more potent is not the right word, contagious, I guess, than others. But the big thing is always, if we don't have antibodies in our bodies, if we like biologically are not prepared, it's gonna hit us regardless. It's not about like the infrastructure or any shit like that, or shutting down borders. Like, the shit was either gonna get here or it wasn't, because it was more contagious than the past SARS. So like, some Americans did get the previous SARS, but they probably just got it from being in close contact with people who had recently traveled to or from China. This is just like a larger scale of it. And Bill Gates actually warned about this like 2 or 3 years ago, when like it was some little interview, you know, for a tech conference or something. And they were asking him, you know, oh man, you know, so what could we prepare for in the world? Like, what is the world really gonna like get fucked up by? Like, is it gonna be aliens? Is it gonna be another world war? Like, what do you think? And he was like, yo, it's gonna be some type of contagious virus, because we aren't, you know, not only are our bodies not biologically prepared, but we as a societal mentality and having the correct infrastructure in place to deal with like these types of health crises is everything. Like that kind of perfect storm is gonna bring everything basically to a screeching halt. Like, this shit is, I don't want to say it is avoidable, but like, there are things we could have been doing in the past where we wouldn't have been so fucked up by it. We wouldn't have to cancel shit. And now every company, every corporation has to have a zombie plan, you know? So,
I mean, I think it's a good thing it happened kind of in that sense, where people now have to plan. But I mean, you know, people forget that Trump disbanded the pandemic response team that was part of the Department of Homeland Security, I believe, maybe, you know, maybe a year and a half ago or something like that. And, you know, so
you're right. But those are also not necessarily like that might be like a title agency. Like, there might be 100 people in that particular department that kind of run some shit, but it really is like the CDC. When there's some shit happening, they are the ones who mobilize and like reach out to all these different departments. I got a chance to work on a previous task force this past January, right before coronavirus hit. I was working on the lung injury shit, the vaping response. And like, I basically saw firsthand and heard stories of like, oh man, when Ebola happened, we got sent over here and we had to do this, and we were in this country, and like, we mobilized, and it was us CDC people running shit. And then, you know, you might have some American bureaucrats and Homeland Security shit like that. That sounds good, but like, the people who are doing the science to actually, you know, change some things, I don't know that him defunding that would have stopped this. You know what I mean? Or not defunding
not
it would
stopped
have
it, but at
stopped
least, like,
this.
you know, maybe there's a potential we would have been more prepared on the federal front. You know.
I mean, yeah. And the other part of it is we just can't trust this dude. Like it, when even if he were to tell you that the shit was an important issue, like, I mean, I didn't believe him when he was saying that it was good money. It always feels like he's lying. We don't have any kind of trust in our leadership. So, like, that's probably the bigger problem than anything.
That's been pretty problematic. I mean, because, he's having these press conferences every day. And I like them and I appreciate them, especially when other people come on, like the scientists and even Mike Pence, man. He's starting to sound like a credible individual. But it's like, I don't know if he is.
Sounds good. He sounds
y'all
good.
are just listen. Yeah, the more you guys listen to these particular news outlets, y'all have been mentioning. And he talking about Fox News, Tunde. I know PBS NewsHour is supposed to be nonpartisan, but the more y'all like feed into the shit and watch it regularly, you're gonna start aligning and be like,
ain't shit else
this
to do,
guy
bro.
does make a little more sense.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
that's that
it's not
quarantine
really
life.
about
That's how they get you.
Arie, man, I know that you got some hot takes, and I know that you also keep a very level head about our administration, man. What do you think?
Okay, so I mean, like when it comes to it's like having trust in our leader, like you guys were saying, it's so crazy because it's like at this point, I mean, you can look at the polls. Nobody trusts anything that's coming out of his mouth. We always expect it to actually be the opposite. And it's like, this is probably the worst crisis where we could possibly not have trust in an administration.
Ooh,
I mean, like,
point.
and he's had plenty of chances to, like, I don't know, for us to instill trust in him. It's like, he said, hey, I'm going to clean up the border. I'm going to build that wall. Where's the wall and where's the border? Like, or what reform have you done? Like, when it comes to just like any other topic or any other situation he's had to handle, he has handled it in the complete wrong way or lied about most of it. So, I mean, it's all just like there was a point in time in which you could have said, okay, we're not going to like accept any more of your lies. But I mean, the Republican Party enabled him. And now we're here at this point, which is the worst possible point we could be, aside from having an alien invasion or an asteroid on the way to hit Earth, which might possibly happen. But, you guys feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
This is the last year of his administration. It's like,
we're going that far.
We're about to be done with him, but like we couldn't just wait until the next president came in that could maybe handle this a little bit better. It couldn't have waited one more year.
I mean, that's why Trump is presenting information the way he. I mean, he already is very self-centered, so he presents information as is relevant to him. But I mean, it's a little bit beyond that at this point because he's now pushing to sort of to portray to the American people that he's still in charge and the economy, which is his biggest touting point, is going to come back. And so you can hear that a lot in a lot of his messages. It's like he's sort of using that platform to kind of campaign. He's not just I think part of the reason why we don't like listening to him in this situation is that he's not just presenting the facts, he's skewing them, and it's all about him. While when we hear somebody like Mike Pence present information, he's not trying to campaign, he's not using this information in a particularly slanted way to present himself well. He's just telling it like it is. So it's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear those scientists like tell you this stuff, just in plain facts, not really trying to spin it. But Trump is absolutely not about that life. He's trying to get every win he can at any point.
Right. Have you noticed that in the past week, though, he's completely changed his tone? It seems like everything he's saying now is exactly what he should be saying. Everything he's doing is it sounds like somebody sat him down and said, okay, we cannot handle you going AWOL on this. These are the things you have to do, like you have to say and do. Otherwise, we're going to go to a point of no return, especially with the stock market. With, I guess, people's lives are at stake here. I don't know if maybe the reality dawned on him in the past week.
I'll say this. Like, I think at some point, he's skated for quite a while not being presidential. Like, there's a certain sort of quality of just confidence and leadership and, just like the ability to sort of like shoulder people's anxieties and stress, and give people just certainty that things will be okay. He's kind of shirked that responsibility, but I think that by not doing that, he's actually putting his own campaign interests in much, much harm. Like, And one thing that I've been surprised by is like how important the president is really. You know, like I said, like he was on TV talking about, it's not a big deal, you know, in mid-February, early February. And I don't listen to the president. I don't take what he says as fact. But a part of me, just a tiny little part of me, like listened. And I was like, all right, well, if the president is saying it, if he's saying it this confidently on TV, perhaps maybe there's some credibility. You know, I kind of fell for it a little bit. But the president is so essential. That is why they keep having him at these press conferences. They can't just like toss him to the side and be like, okay, you know, he's not going to say anything. How would that look in our nation? You know,
they tried to. Remember, they tried to take it. They shut him away. They were like, all right, this dude can't handle it. And
but he's still coming out though. He's still coming out, and he leads the press conference.
Yeah, but now he's actually sticking around. Remember last weekend when I was saying like, yo, he just keeps like ducking off like every time, like he threatened to fire Jerome Powell, and then he just like dipped out. I'm like, yo, this is so funny, man. And then like Mike Pence was like in charge of the thing. It's like, yo, this is not looking good. And I think that was part like Arie said, you know, like basically, you know, somebody sat him down and told him, yo, you can't keep doing this. And maybe it was because they told him about the campaign, like Tunde says, but you know, I have noted a change, but the content of his speeches aren't really much improved. It's just a bit more organized.
That's true. Actually, I didn't even think about, like, well, you just mentioned his campaign. You know what? If this is going pretty terribly, they probably had a realization that like no matter who Trump is, if we as a party, as a nation mishandle this and don't come out on top, the Republican Party is probably going to be doomed for the next few elections, because people are going to be like, remember when the Republicans were in charge during the pandemic? We can't have that around. You know what I mean?
We could have gotten rid of Trump and had a better outcome, but they voted to keep him in. You know, because like it's kind of perfectly set up. It was like, oh, you had a chance to get rid of this guy, but then you guys voted to not, even though everybody knows he's guilty. And then now he fucked up the whole coronavirus thing. Now America's in a depression. Well, get destroyed.
Here's the thing we got to realize too is that so if we somehow recover from this, our economy recovers and everything like that, Trump is a 100% lock to win the next election. If we somehow survive this and come out either
by November,
roughly the same or better, or by November,
we are going to survive though.
Which I mean, we could. I mean, but I'm saying like in terms of like the stock market and the economy and everything like that. If fall rolls around and nothing's really recovered, like we may have physically recovered from the virus, but our economy hasn't. He's gonna lose. If we come out of this on bottom, Biden's gonna win the next election 100%. If we come out of this on top, Trump wins 100%. This pandemic kind of decides the next election.
It's true. I think you're right. I completely agree with you, man. Depending, like right around October, like if things haven't clearly ticked up, man, people might be mad. Like if he doesn't get the stimulus out, like if it doesn't work, people are gonna be mad.
I have a question for you guys. If this is still bad, let's say it's October, they push the election back, the presidential election. For the United States, president of the United States.
Bill Barr did call that. Bill Barr did.
They'll push it back.
This motherfucker is not leaving your seat.
He's gonna start campaigning off that shit too. Right now, he said it, man. His whole tone is, well, the content is much improved, but the whole tone is still very much like, okay, the economy is still gonna come roaring back. We just have to get through this. I think he realized eventually that in order for anything to possibly happen in the form of recovery, we have to have the recovery of the health of our nation, like the actual physical health of our nation. But I think if things don't pick up, he's going to start campaigning on the fact that our nation is dealing with this horrible ordeal and we can't have an election, which would be disgusting because I could see it getting postponed, man.
That's true. I think we're in a point where anything is kind of possible. I mean, we have an administration that's kind of unhinged. We have a pandemic. Our economy's heading towards a recession. At this point, I feel like it's going to come to desperate measures. I mean, I was even thinking about this a few days ago. He could just start a war if he really wanted to, or at least somebody could start a war right now that could even throw an even bigger wrench into this whole thing. I wouldn't put it past, we're living in strange times. I wouldn't put it past, Putin to make a move and do something. You know what I mean? China to make. I mean, oh, in the Crimea, right? Or,
Yeah, the Crimea, but they also like they dumped oil on the market, so the
oh,
oil prices dropped like
the oil pricing war
right
with
when
Saudi
coronavirus
Arabia.
hit. Yeah. So I mean, they're not. I mean, I feel like Russia's not against doing something like that if it helps their eventual ascendancy. They're just trying to fucking win. They don't
I
care about
know.
nobody else.
I know. I don't even know. What are their numbers for the virus? Like, have we even heard? Has Putin?
Bruh, they
has
ain't telling
Putin-
nobody.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
not telling nobody, man.
How many people died in your country? I don't know.
Everybody in Russia got that shit.
We killed with the
Everybody's dying.
They're not
vodka.
reporting no numbers, yo.
I know.
Like
That's
look,
what I'm
like
saying.
look at this shit, man. I'm on Bing.com's COVID tracking. They say they only got 194 cases.
Man,
No
I feel
fatalities.
like that is a complete and utter lie, man.
I mean, the thing is
sorry.
too about
Bro, I
Russia
can't
though is
believe
that
that.
they're spread out though. That country is really big and very rural. You know what I mean? It's like, so I feel like hitting
Yeah.
like popular epicenters probably takes some time at least. I mean, I feel like if anything,
People
they'll
from
be
going from
delayed.
China to Moscow, man. I know people are going from China to Moscow.
Right.
Beijing to Moscow or Shanghai. I know that they're buddies, man. They got to be buddies.
That's true. So I mean, Russia could just be
basically,
lying.
How do we feel Russia's, I suppose, pandemic response infrastructure compares to ours? And
It's worse.
I'm pretty sure
their
they
strategy is
they
let
don't
them
have.
die.
That's what I was gonna say. Their strategy is shoot them, like probably.
Yeah, stand by this ditch. Bitches.
That's what I'm saying. They don't care. Send them to Serbia
Yeah.
or Siberia or something.
Yeah. Fucking Serbia too, man. So there.
One of the beers, like. Goddamn.
Anything, just send them there. Yeah, man, they're not trying to have nobody. And I also feel like China's lying about their numbers, man. I feel like millions of people got that shit in China. They just didn't report. Because how are
really,
they only
millions? That is astronomical, man.
That's a lot of
Bruh.
people, but I do feel like I feel like maybe millions have it, but they just haven't been tested. There's not that many fucking test kits.
Right,
Like the shit's not
exactly.
fast. Today you actually just sent us something earlier that was like the first private company is making test kits and selling them to people, and they're about to make a racket because people are probably gonna buy a bunch of them, get tested. Like, what happens if you get coronavirus after you took the test? Like, what?
yeah.
That does nothing for you. It's so fucking dumb.
It's like what A said,
That's
man.
true.
You need that blue check mark if you're trying to make
True.
it these days. If you're trying to go
I know, right? Tell
outside,
people you took the test, man. That's enough clout.
yep.
Right.
That's
It's
true.
like Instagram, man. Now anybody can get the blue check mark. You just gotta
Right.
send them an email. But what I do want to say about this Everywell product, it's costs $135. At least that's what they're saying. I don't know. We'll see when things actually roll out. It's supposed to come out on the 23rd. But I don't understand how this makes sense because the United States government has already said everyone will be able to get coronavirus testing for free. And these
They lied.
people. So am I
These
not
people
gonna
are trying to
my
get it
check?
to you fast. Hell nah. You're not about to get shit. You're not getting this stimulus package from Trump. They're not giving a goddamn thing.
Man, I was trying to do something stupid with that check, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, right?
Shit,
Trying to
Port-
see that clean 1,000.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I need that
Puerto
little
Rico's
cash,
still
man.
waiting for their money, man. Puerto Rico's still waiting for the money for Hurricane Maria like 3 years ago. Like, what makes you think we're
Yeah.
gonna see that money?
Yo,
To
somebody
every
got that
American?
money.
They have said a
Somebody
lot
got
of
that Puerto
things.
Rico money.
Just sitting on it.
But I will say this, man. You know, so here where I live, they've pretty much shut down all the common spaces, and and so they have people come and they clean the building like every day. I would see them and stuff, chop it up with some of them. Of course, pretty much all of them are people of color, but it's just like that can't happen. If no one is using the community areas, there's no reason to clean them. There's no reason to hire them. So it's like I really worry about how people are going to sort of overcome this economic downturn. People who are like on a per diem schedule where the work that they do in that day is the work that they get paid for, So we have to have some kind of stimulus, and y'all sound very pessimistic. Y'all are making me nervous, man. But people like that, people who are working in coffee shops and, people who work in restaurants, if there aren't tables to serve if there are no tips to be gotten, how are those people going to persevere?
I mean, I'm gonna say this though. I mean, I just feel like because the Fed can print money, it's basically at their wish. I mean, the U.S. has less of an issue of doing this. I feel like there's very little hindrance to them actually getting this done, because they have to. I think it's a necessity, and it's basically of zero charge to the government. They've been printing money for years.
So you're saying they would just have to lessen the value of the
more.
dollar by printing more cash, but it wouldn't be that much because everybody else's currency.
It doesn't even make any. Exactly. That's exactly what the thing is. I mean, if the U.S. is doing bad, everybody else is doing bad, so it doesn't matter.
Just more cash. Okay, Arie.
I honestly don't really. I'm more pessimistic. I really don't think they're going to be serious about a stimulus because I feel like this just makes an even greater argument for automation. You know what I mean? Like, as people start losing their jobs, companies are going to start thinking, what can I do to save money and still produce? Just automate the job that those people are going to, get laid off. They didn't expect to get them back. They should expect automation to replace them.
Yeah.
So,
Arie, you are
I'm
on the
thinking
super pessimistic shit.
So, I'm
he's
thinking like
absolutely
how
right.
I would.
But that's
I'm thinking
that's
how a
long term
company
though,
would.
right? So, yeah, but that's long term. I feel like in the meantime, like either the workers get some kind of stimulus or they don't. I mean, starting next month, man, people are gonna be out of money. People don't have savings. What was the statistic? It's like some huge percentage of the U.S. population doesn't have enough money for a $500 emergency or something like that. So,
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
People are going to be out of money next month, so they kind of got to figure this out. There's one way or another.
I mean, I feel like something's going to be done. I feel like it's not going to be enough. I mean, didn't the government already try and do stuff by throwing some money at Wall Street? Like they threw like billions of dollars at Wall Street, and it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and the dudes the next day went and sold off.
I know. I mean, I'll have to do some more, be a little bit more stock literate to maybe wrap my head around the whole thing. But the guy on Mad Money, I forget that white dude's name.
Kramer?
Kramer, yeah. He seemed to still be a little positive.
He's very opinionated. I think his part of his doubt would be sort of positive in these situations too. I think
that's true. Does no help if he's up on there on TV being like, look guys, y'all are fucked.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
If he just retired on air, if he was like, I'm done. Like Chris Matthews. Like Chris Matthews did a few weeks ago when he was like, all right, this is my show, I'm out, bye.
I mean, they bounced him though, didn't they? They
were going to. They were going to bounce him, so he took it upon himself.
Yeah,
and
they said he made fun of too many women in the past. He had to go.
What?
Damn, they kind of late to the party, man. Me Too situation.
Yeah, they said that he was making jokes about women. I don't know what kind of jokes, probably.
But not recently though.
Sexually, not recently. Apparently, not recently. But
so what happened now?
People felt some kind of way.
He quit.
It was about back then, I think. I don't think it was about something that happened recently, as far as I heard. Maybe it was.
No, I know, but I'm saying, why now then? Like, why? They were just like, you know what?
Bruh, they're still wrapping up Me Too, man. They got to get all the stragglers.
AKA any Democrat who they haven't really gotten. Bill Clinton, they're coming
you still
for you.
love Chris Matthews? Oh, you're out.
they hit the Democrat voter yet. Well,
yeah, they're reading down the list.
If he deserved it, then so be it, man. Get his ass out of there. Get him out of there.
Did you guys just see that two? Did you guys just see that two Lakers got the virus?
Damn, really?
Two of the Lakers
got
the
it?
virus. They haven't said, but because they haven't said, I think it's LeBron.
Ooh.
LeBron over there making out with Rudy Gobert.
Bro, Rudy Gobert was in the Lakers locker room probably, man. He probably been had the virus, bro. And just spreading it everywhere, man. Just coughing on everything. Right.
Hey,
all the aerosols.
What if LeBron James dies from the coronavirus? What would happen?
I think you might have to. You'll have to actually cancel the NBA for like 2 years.
Let's play devil's advocate here.
Look, I don't want to think about this shit, bro.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear that.
LeBron James is the greatest ever, man.
All right, we don't.
I mean,
we're not gonna
but-
We
get
can't.
into
I
this
mean, like the world can't handle losing Kobe and LeBron, man. It might just implode out here.
Yeah, I was about to
saying.
say. I feel like basketball would just cave in on itself. It would just nobody's ever going to play again.
Yeah.
You got to cancel the season for the rest of for like 2 years, just so people can just like kind of think about
Cancel
the
for
shit.
2 years.
Yeah, just so
Y'all
niggas
really
can
wanna play?
marinate. Like, nah, not really. But
Please.
well, I mean, Arie, man, what you said was very morbid. You know, I am a
I'm
fan
sorry.
of morbid humor on occasion, just not when it's about the king. However, I mean,
right.
it seems like anything's game, though, right? Like in this coronavirus, anything is possible. Just like be ready, man. Like, let me go ahead and go cop me a shotgun or something, just because. I don't know, man. I might have to go kill some meat or something. Who knows?
I mean, gun sales are up. Gun sales have skyrocketed here in LA. So
Yeah, that would not be a bad plan. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Get strapped up.
Yeah. So speaking of gun sales, I mean, I feel like there's like some other things that we got to be aware of that we're not fully tracking or hasn't really presented itself regarding social distancing, sort of like the emotional effects of that. I'm looking at this article on MSN.com about how divorce cases are rising in China because couples are spending too much time quarantined. You know, but I mean, there's like the rise of gun sales, like these toilet paper just getting like snatched off the shelf. There's like a psychological effect, man. And, you know, I don't know much about this as the resident psychologist here on the podcast, but, you know, there's a certain component of like, I can tell you now, people, you know, people who go and buy like 200, 300. I was in this grocery store and I saw a dude, he copped $700 worth of groceries, legit. Like I saw it. I saw him get checked out too. And every single one of those groceries got scanned, man. It took so long. But, you know, I feel like, you know, there's going to be some psychological challenges, man. People don't understand that you can't just post up at the crib for a week. And people are talking about we got to post up for like 2 or 3 months, man. That is going to be devastating, I think.
Man, it's going to be devastating on my fucking brain. I don't know how to... I'm getting cabin fever already, man. What are... psychologists, tell me about the fucking mental impacts of this shit. You know, I know it's not just me either. Like, I at least got video games and y'all to, like, chop it up with. What about these people who are already, like, you know, hermits, but now maybe they're living in paradise.
I mean, if people were already introverted and, you know, were kind of just secluded, I think that it's an easy transition for them. But that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, like I said, I was going out every day, doing stuff every day. So I don't know, man. Like, and my fear is that a week, you know, 2 weeks, like we can kind of deal with that. That's basically going on winter break. But this shit is not sustainable for a month or 2 months, you know. And I don't know if that's what the expectation is going to be. You know, we'll see how this virus progresses, but it's not going to be that simple.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of alcoholics by the end of this.
Yeah. Yo, they need to just go ahead and legalize weed everywhere. I mean, that's the real thing. We're going to have to pay for this shit no matter what. Like, whatever our vices become or whatever the fuck we're doing at home. I mean, eventually the government is probably going to have to. I've been saying they won't do this stimulus package shit, but eventually I think a base income is going to be, or basic income, I forget the actual term, is going to become like a norm because of this.
Universal basic income?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that. Along with this like work from home trend and automation, like Arie said, I think all these things are going to be like an opening into a new era of modernness. Like we truly live in the future, y'all. Like this shit is crazy.
No, we
live in the future.
I was just thinking that same thing. I was like, this alone is going to change the way we live, whether it's, you know, just permanent, you know, social distancing kind of, or, you know, you're, like I said, you know, alcoholism is on the rise, you know, something like that. You know, I think it is definitely going to normalize a few extreme, you know, behaviors we see as extreme now. I feel like it's just going to normalize them, and it's just going to be a staple in just like, you know, our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I totally agree with you.
Do you guys think it's gonna like solidify sort of that rich poor socioeconomic sort of difference by people now will be socially distancing themselves with people who aren't within their social group. It's like, oh, these guys, they're like, who are these people? We're just gonna isolate ourselves. Do you think that's gonna stick around?
I mean, that's a good point, man. I mean that's a good point in the sense that people who are already in certain social groups, there's no opportunity to break into it now because it's all in these exclusive online environments, and I think that word to what Arie was saying, I think we're going to be at a breaking point, whether we're actually going to embrace this digital culture and that's just going to be it, or people are going to recognize that we actually have to have human connections outside of the digital world, and we're actually going to finally start maybe reverting, which is what I hope for, because I don't think that this digital universe can be sustainable. Like, I don't think humans can I
think at a time in which everything is so polarizing, I think humans need to break apart. I think we need space from each other as just like a human race. I'm tired of hearing their opinions. They're tired of hearing mine. I feel like some time apart would really start to build up value in seeing the other side. You know what I mean? By the time this is all said and done, I feel like we're going to be, so distant from everybody else. We're going to want to try and unite kind of again. So if there was kind of a hopeful future that I have in mind, I feel like that is definitely possible, but I feel like that, would probably take some real time to actually accomplish.
That's a very good point.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it sounds reasonable, especially because a lot now, like, the government is like systematically asking people to stick together. Like they keep reinforcing this togetherness, like we're all in it together, or Americans, like we can triumph if we all unite. Blah blah blah. I mean, this is something they weren't talking about before. I mean, like they would mention it. Trump would mention it in the State of the Union or something, but there hasn't been such a universal message that's been put out to the people, apart from let's do this and stick together. I think it's I think that's the hopeful best outcome. I think it's likely, but we'll have to wait and see, man. America has surprised us before.
True story.
That's true. I was just gonna say, like, a last point. I during a time in which we should be uniting as a human race, we're still seeing people point fingers, though. Donald Trump the other day just pointed the finger at China and said that's on them. That's not our people. And the whole point should be like, we are people. It doesn't matter who it started with. If this is an existential crisis, we kind of need to get rid of this whole idea as if like we're still our own separate entity. Like, we kind of need to band together if we want to get through this together as a world. I mean, every stock market crashed. I think it takes a world effort to kind of get everybody back on track.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man, it sucks. It's also really funny, honestly. Like, I can't get enough of how hilarious the president is. This doesn't mean I support him, because I know the Twitter ratchet is going to come for me. But the thing is, it's so funny.
So hold on. So on the New York Times, though, so this is why Trump is mad, because on the New York Times they said that Chinese officials and news outlets have been like talking about that the virus was being spread by the United States. Like, they were saying there were some rumors that they were talking about on their news cycle that there was like U.S. soldiers and the U.S. government was responsible for the disease. So I think this is what Trump is responding to when he's saying that, it's a Chinese virus, and keeps reinforcing that. Because in the beginning he wasn't. It didn't start until last week, and I think he basically said this, like it was a response to the way China was trying to spread misinformation to their people and tell them that it was spread from America.
I mean, dude, but we have to just let China deal with that on their own, man. If that's what the Chinese government has chosen to do, I don't think, what Arie was saying is exactly right. We can't be sitting here pointing fingers, and nobody is doing that except the president, and he's consistently,
the Chinese people are doing it. The Chinese people are doing it, apparently. I mean, my thing is, like Arie said, that this is a time for the world to come together. And I believe they are coming together, but just not with China. I think China has kind of really screwed itself in this whole debacle because, I mean, they are kind of at fault for this. Everyone knows it. And a lot of people have a lot of suspicions about their reporting of, the epidemiology that's going on in their country and all sorts of other things. And so I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of people against China because of this. And so I think Donald Trump is just being his usual brash self. He can't help himself. So I think this is just how he deals with it. I don't know.
Yeah, this might change the way people, like, we do business with China. You know what I mean? Like, granted, a few viruses, right? Having a few viruses kind of manifested itself in China first and spread everywhere else. I mean, maybe this is a wake-up call to, like, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say change our policy towards the Chinese, because that sounds a little racist. But
yo, say that shit. Speak with your chest. Say what needs to be said. Jump off the cliff, bro. Do it. No, I'm just playing.
My thing is that.
Go ahead, Arie, man.
What? Oh no, I wasn't gonna say anything.
No, all I'm saying is that I don't think it's really racist. I mean, if you're saying it like, yeah, Chinese people with their slanty eyes, blah blah blah, yeah, that's very racist. But if you're saying like, oh, I mean, these guys are an authoritarian government, they're communist, we are against that, so we're gonna block that. I mean, just like they've done to Cuba and other authoritarian regimes. I think it's along the same line. I kind of been wondering for a long time, why does China get all these special protections when they were just as buddy with the Russians as the Chinese were? I mean, as the Cubans were during the Cold War. It's like these guys are not innocent, but how come they keep getting to skate while the U.S. is economically punishing all these other people, but doing great business with the Chinese? It's like, come on, man. Like, you guys should be uniform, because they're going to do stuff like this. I mean, this is what an authoritarian government will do, is they will misinform and they will control the narrative and only tell you what they want you to know. They're not your partners.
If that price is always right, they're going to deal with China. That's the thing. They got manpower for these factories and shit. Money. They got the cheap labor. Like that. Yeah. It doesn't fucking matter. Trump can talk out his ass all he wants to about China. Yeah. As long as that check clears, it's a wrap.
It's kind of like how we still go to Chick-fil-A. It's kind of like how we all still go to Chick-fil-A. I mean, they definitely don't like the LGBTQ community, but those chicken sandwiches are fucking fire,
they
right?
hit.
They're pretty delicious. That's for sure.
I will say I did read recently they Chick-fil-A stopped giving to some of those organizations that were anti-LGBT, but like still, I agree with you. People didn't stop.
I know Popeyes, FTW, man.
Okay, I feel that. I feel like I'm with it.
Man, it remains to be seen how things progress, but I think we're at a breaking point for a lot of things, but I do think that people might have to, like, businesses probably will have to really, really, really think about how they want to operate in China, because I mean, a lot of these businesses can operate and do manufacturing in the United States. It's just more expensive, so you go to China for the price. But when China has this hanging over their head, and we still have several months to see how exactly they deal with it, I will say this, man, I don't think it's a good idea to try to claim that United States agents planted the coronavirus, because that would be really, really difficult to do.
That's
and
some
then
garbage.
It comes back to our states, so that's some misinformation that's going to be really hard to talk out of.
Look, they give us way too much credit if that's what they believe, because to manufacture a virus, how hard is it to manufacture a virus, Mr. CDC?
I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's also not hard. Might be the right way to, like, we have the technology where we can control DNA. Like, we can identify what particular thing. Like, it's not a perfect science. It's not an exact science. And he also probably knows a lot about this, being a scientist himself and working in research. But
a quantitative geneticist.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
that's a big word.
So boom, there you go.
Hey,
like
man.
he actually would be the one to know.
Hey, can you manufacture viruses, Ahe? Bruh.
I mean, yes. Yes, you can.
Exactly. See,
Well, can you do it?
We
Can you do it?
right?
Yeah, I mean, if I had the right sequence, like, so basically, there's companies who sell retroviruses that you use for research purposes. So you could basically just tell them what gene you're trying to target and blah blah blah. So I mean, it has most of the viral genome except for the part that allows it to actually complete the cycle and make a protein capsid and all that stuff so that it can get out and infect other people. But theoretically, I mean, they can make these viruses however they want, and it can be used as a weapon. I mean, anybody can use CRISPR nowadays, and you can take any virus, you could make random mutations throughout the genome however you want it, and then you can test the virulence and how quickly it kills people. You can optimize things, and then you can just harvest the virus and then get some more, and you can start a epidemic if you really wanted to. I mean, it's very possible, and it's not super difficult. Like,
so maybe China's not lying.
Money.
Well, if you're gonna manufacture a virus, I figure you'd make a stronger virus that's more scary than, the coronavirus. I mean, not the target demographic of 65 plus and people who are already about to die anyways. Like,
man, I don't know what you're talking about, Arie. I'm scared.
You can't manufacture the virus to such a level where, because you basically have to come from something that already exists. Right, like it's very difficult to like create a brand new virus. It's like
you have to use a template.
That's too hard. But you can tweak another pre-existing virus, and so obviously if somebody made it, they could have made it worse. But I mean, how much worse? Who knows? I mean, it couldn't be a completely different effect. It has to go within the same route of action that the original virus did.
Okay.
Well,
that satisfied my question.
So basically, it's not impossible that United States military agents planted the virus.
Oh, it's definitely not. It's definitely not impossible. It's they could have made the virus. That's true. We have the technology to make a virus.
I think I'll opt to say we don't know. Could have been us.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like we've done more fucked up.
Yeah, but you would hope that they, like, if it was the army doing this, they would have thought, like, yo, this junk is going to come back. Like, this is how these things work. Somebody if you're smart enough to make a virus like this, you should be smart enough to know what's going to happen afterwards, It's
$1 trillion gamble, man. You think, just like you said, United States can print the money. Like, what's the worst that could happen? You have to drop $1 trillion on the economy to keep it alive. And you know what? Maybe that's a gamble.
Doesn't that cause inflation? I was about to say, doesn't that cause massive inflation?
Not enough.
Well,
I don't think $1 trillion enough. Yeah.
Not a trillion.
$1 trillion would cause massive inflation.
$1 trillion. Yeah, you're right. $1 trillion wouldn't be that bad.
Hey, man, we make trillions every day.
Over the span of like 5 or 6 years during the Iraq War, like they spent like $1 trillion on the war in Iraq, at least like the Middle East. So, I mean, they basically just printed that money because it's all gone to debt.
I was about to say they just gave it to themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's just a sequential loop of debt that one person prints money to pay off another. So $1 trillion won't break the bank.
Nah, we'll see if we actually get it, man. Cause I was hoping to get a check, man. When Trump announced that shit 3 days ago. He said everybody's gonna get a check. I was like, oh shit, what?
Well, it's funny because that check is really supposed to be for the people that lose their jobs. But I mean, I feel like we keeping our jobs, so we're good. Like
I know, right? I will say this, man. Coronavirus, I have truly counted my blessings. Like, I got an email from Northeastern saying that all students were gonna continue getting paid, like no matter what. I was like, that's what's up, man. I feel very blessed. I have somewhere to live. I have a car, so I don't have to take public transportation, which they have diminished greatly here in Boston. Like, they have reduced public transportation by a lot. So I'm just like, man, I hate having to like be stuck in a crib, but I truly feel blessed about not having to suffer, at least for now, like serious economic effects. So I suppose that's a
me
side
too,
effect
man.
of the coronavirus.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true too. I'm thankful.
Yeah, because it's funny because I did think about what about the people going to lose their jobs, and I was looking around, I was like, that's not me, is it? Like, I hope not. I just, you know what I mean? So you do feel bad for the people in the service industries and things like that because it's like they can't even go to work because they got nobody to serve. And the thing is, like, that's never been a reality to me where, like, my job can just go like that.
Right.
So, I mean, it is kind of hard to put in perspective too, to for me to be in other people's shoes who who have already lost their jobs in these industries that I have never even like been close to.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put into perspective, but I mean, that alone, yeah, I definitely feel lucky.
So let me throw this at you guys. I was watching, I think, a press briefing, and they were saying how the only way they could really make sure to get everyone who was sort of in these service industry areas or whose job really couldn't sustain like the economic downturn was just to pay everybody, every adult. That makes sure that they get every single person. I mean, does that sound right? Does that sound appropriate to y'all? We're the coronavirus economists.
I saw on like there was a news like a little news feed thing on my phone saying basically that McConnell is over here floating, and I don't know how true this is, but McConnell and his group are floating like a stimulus check of $1,200 per individual or $2,400 per couple, and and people who make more than $75,000 annually would be reduced $5 for every $100 they earn over 75 grand. And families with children get $500 a head for the kids.
Damn.
And so basically nobody making over 99,000 will get any money.
Interesting.
This is some stuff that was on
And
Politico.
this is something McConnell
Is that-
saying that he would run with.
That
Is that per
apparently-
month?
I don't know.
Because I don't
would-
even. I mean,
would
it's
think that'd be
something, but
for 3
I'm
months.
trying to. Every 3 months.
I feel like that would make sense if it was spaced out between 3 months. Because I guess if you talk about business, we're operating on quarters. I feel like 3 months would be appropriate for like a quarter. But
Yeah, I don't know that much. I'm just reading the stuff that Politico said.
that's an interesting thought. I mean, it was it's a criticism of Andrew Yang's, universal basic income was everybody gets this, even the millionaires, and he was basically saying, why discriminate? Everybody can get it unless you choose you don't want it. Like, it's a little when you start targeting certain demographics, those demographics are going to start feeling. Eventually, they'll start feeling, how come I'm not getting my cut? So, I mean, I could see both the good and the harm that could possibly do. I'm open to anything really.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they don't like rich people don't need this money, man. They need to stop playing.
Well, I mean, we still have to see if.
But who says 99,000 is like enough to not be poor? I feel like 99,000, if you're within that like low 100,000 range of the full ass family, and depending on what city you live in, you might be broke, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's very true, being somebody who lives in Los Angeles. Like, damn, I'm considered like broke. These people, like,
yeah. No, I mean that is very true. And we still have to even see how shit rolls out, man. Because I know Mitch McConnell is going to be talking out his ass, but I watched the Senate press briefing yesterday, and Mitch McConnell was talking about we want to drop this money. Chuck Schumer came out and said, fuck everything Mitch McConnell said. We're trying to drop this money. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way supposedly that they want to actually disseminate the money, I don't know if there's going to be nice, clean agreement, and people talking about $1,200 today.
They'll come down to something, man. This is too important.
They have to, or they face getting getting replaced.
Yeah.
And this is
anybody's head will roll on this.
Right.
in
And this is for
climate.
really the Republicans cross the bear on this one because they're, you know what I mean? This is their presidency. This is their time to shine. They're kind of still in charge. So, I mean, like I said, it's their cross the bear. If they want to, stall this because of bickering on, certain numbers or trying to slide in certain policies, that's going to be on them, not Democrats.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, last thing
Absolutely.
before we wrap up, I think we had a pretty decent Coronavirus Chronicles podcast featuring the quarantine boys, but I think Arie said something earlier that was really interesting to me, man. I think you basically said the Republican Party's done, and I want to believe that, but I don't know, man. I feel like when you consider that, first of all, we might get a stimulus, which would be very important for his voters, which could also boost the economy, but then also he could really, really start to pound this anti-China thing, which I feel like a lot of his voters could coalesce around. I don't know if they're completely done yet, but I want them to be.
I mean, I feel like there's too much time left in the year. I mean, like I said, anything is possible, and we can expect them to kind of literally throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. They have to be willing to try anything at this point. So, I mean, they might not be done. Who knows? Like I said, if we come out of this on top, like by the end of the summer, everything is fine. The economy's back again. Everybody makes money on the stock market. He's got to get reelected. I mean, so.
Yeah, man. If those gains come back, dude, it's gonna be hard to say enough of Trump.
I mean, and we've survived.
Everybody lost their gains, man.
That's true. To be honest, at the end of this 4 years, I mean, like, I will say shit got bad. All right, there was some, almost war with Iran. Kind of alienating ourselves from our allies. The whole stupid trade wars that he was trying to do.
Impeachment,
impeachment. We're still kind of here. So, I mean, for all the people who thought it was really going to be the end of the world if Donald Trump was president, I mean, are you still doing good? Because I remember at the beginning of the presidency, I started freaking out, and now I'm looking back at myself 4 years ago thinking, wow, you were really scared that this dude was about to do some crazy shit.
Yeah,
and I mean,
that's crazy.
like,
I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm a little terrified. There was a lot of people online, and obviously the pundits were like, "What do we have to be afraid of? He's just one man." And I feel like we're living that shit on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that, like, it hasn't really been as bad as they say. I mean, now we know what it feels like to be Republicans when Obama got elected. You know what I mean? Thinking that he was going to destroy the earth, and I mean, they came out of it okay. So I mean, the next 8 years or whatever, we're still going to be blaming Trump for some stupid shit, and then the next administration is going to come along, and then they're going to blame the last person. It's all cyclical. So yeah. I mean, while a lot of shit is Trump's fault, I mean, we're still standing. I mean, y'all are still making money, I assume. I mean, y'all have the careers of your dreams. Making more money than you ever have.
We're still students. Well, at least me and Tunde.
Well, fuck that.
Herschel's about to become a student again.
Oh yeah, and then I guess we're still paying off, student loans and whatever. But I mean, we still here. I mean,
we out here though.
Yeah, but we're the lucky and privileged ones, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, fortunately for us, our jobs aren't going anywhere. I know Herschel's job is hella secure, man. That nigga.
Good money.
Got that.
They're like, yo, go and come back, bro. Keep the
plugged
seat
in,
warm
baby.
for you, boy.
I planned this. I created coronavirus myself. Just for this.
Okay, well, hold up. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I know, right? You about to have the damn CIA pull up, bruh.
Right?
I know, right? What was that you said 10 minutes ago?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, we heard that on that podcast. It's like, y'all niggas was listening? Like,
I didn't even publish it yet.
I know.
Like, y'all want to get on the podcast right quick? CIA?
Right? Hold on, we got Director Smith up in here. He's like, hello, sir.
Agent
Man. So, I mean, it was good chatting with y'all, man. Any last words? From the quarantine boys? Niggas at the crib.
Yeah.
If we get this that stimulus money, that universal basic income, can we do a Vegas trip again?
Yo, I'm
Yes,
so down.
most
Yes.
Yo,
definitely.
I'm so down. I had to cancel my whole like graduation celebration, man. So we
There we
might
go.
have to slide over there to Vegas, man. Blow that little 1,200.
Exactly. It's like, can we get it all in one lump sum? Okay, I'm definitely
I don't know how it's
definitely
gonna go.
let's do it.
Man,
I'm
I don't
down.
know how I feel about giving all of my cash money to the casinos, man. You know.
Just do it. Just don't be a bitch. Just,
All right, well, to the casinos and the liquor companies
yes. Those are my last words.
and my and my favorite neighborhood drug dealer,
Who?
whoever's in Las Vegas.
Can't
Oh,
name
okay.
them.
I feel you. Okay, I feel you.
Fans are still listening, bro. Come on. Wow.
Feds out here. Anyway,
All right,
fellas,
good
man,
shit,
it was
man.
it was cool to have y'all on the podcast. I'm gonna, go ahead and work on this. But anyway, this is Real Talk Beyond the Headlines, aka hashtag RTBTH, man. It's always love, man. Y'all niggas don't get the corona now.
I'm trying to.
I mean-
you're trying to get it or not get it. I didn't understand that.
I'm trying to get it. It's so hard, man. I want to be able to get that test.
Ooh, that's
Get the
real
blue check
though.
mark. Yeah.
Oh,
There you
you
go.
trying to get you some Instagram
Get that check
followers.
mark,
There you go.
man. Right? Go ahead and launch my Instagram career with my coronavirus results.
Living with Corona.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's not
That
impossible.
shit would be hilarious.
It's not impossible, man.
You know,
Like-
you know how there's these shows like I don't even know what country it is where it's like just like people just being at their house. It's like nothing going on, like but people just sit down and watch this shit. Where people are just like sitting there.